NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst you legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight. Hey gang, so I got a new book out. It's called The Upside of Fear, and it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about the good side of, well, getting scared. In it, we talk not only about the science and biology behind fear, but the psychology as well. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from some of the best in the sport. Omar Alhigelan, Jeff Provenzano, Maxine Tate, and so many more have contributed their sometimes terrifying stories to the book to help you overcome your fear. So head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com. You're going to find the link to the book there, as well as the other books. It's available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook right now.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! Definitely not back in the can. This is an on-location version of the Lunatic Fringe podcast with a whole cast of characters that I never expected to be spending time with in such a unique spot. So we're going to start over here. Who the fuck are you? Yes, you. And what do you do?
I am fucking General Zainab Ali.
General. You've embraced that nickname now, haven't you?
I do. I was given that name on this boogie in Kenya.
Why?
Because I have got balls of steel.
She has balls of steel. I like it. All right, General Zainab, balls of steel, and go jump Kenya. Who's next?
Yeah, my name is Omar, and you guys are sick and tired of hearing my voice. Been on way too many of these, but it's always a pleasure. Thank you, Dean, for having me.
Karim Madur.
We've done this before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, last time it was just you and me.
Yes, and we're waiting for episode 2.
Yes, we are doing episode 2, but this is episode 1.5.
Okay.
All right, we're going to keep going.
What's good? I'm Shark Boy Dewey.
Shark Boy Dewey.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way you can to distinguish me from everyone else.
Keep going.
Danny Samper, Colombian saxophonist that also jumps from the sky. Fresh blood on this podcast.
Nice.
My name is Ibrahim. My friends call me Ebro. First time doing a boogie. First time skydiving with all of you lovely people. we'll get into all of that later. But what I do is I take photos and I'm an interior architect.
Cool. My name is Ricky. I'm a skydiver. I'm currently the resident intern / logistics of the boogie. And yeah, it's been a great time.
My name is Pete Stone. I'm a Brit, an ancient Brit. I'm a skydiver. Been a skydiver for quite a long time. Having a blast here in Kenya.
Pete, you're let me slide this microphone a little closer. Pete, you are the only jumper so far on the boogie that I've seen nail the target, and you did it on a stiletto on a golf course as a badass. So ancient does not fit. No, it doesn't fit.
But do tell us, how old are you, Pete?
I'm 77.
God bless you.
Jumping a stiletto.
Respect.
Yes.
Man. 77, man. I pray that I'll be skydiving like you are.
Right?
Mad respect.
So how did we all end up in of all places, Kenya?
So, Gojam Kenya was born about 2 years ago. I opened this dropzone here after a very hard experience with another dropzone that was here. It took me a very long time to do this. Finally, and we're here. So boogies are happening now. I knew Kareem from back in the day when he was still a baby, but not that long ago.
You mean he's grown up?
Not really. No, he's not even taller.
Not taller.
I know this.
If anything, he's already reached the point where he's shrinking.
So I met Kareem, and then I'd gone to Dubai one time to meet him and do some tunnel time, and he introduced me to this amazing human being called Omar.
Who's this dude?
We call him Papa. And I did some tunnel time with him, and voila, he's been here for 3 boogies now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's too awesome.
In 1 year.
And
Let me
in
tell
1
you,
year?
In 1 year. In 2023. Yep.
That's pretty epic.
It
Actually,
is.
the one question I want to ask is to the newest of everybody, which is Ibrahim. You did your very first skydive, never jumped before, and the first time you do it is in a boogie in Kenya. So I want to know that kind of thing. How was that?
I'll backtrack a little bit.
All right.
So, August of this year, I lost my father. So that was really tough, right? I've always taken care of him for the last 10 years. And I know Dewey and Daniel, they've traveled around the world. They would always tell me, hey bro, you out of all our friends, you're the most adventurous, most outdoorsy person. When are you going to come with us? I promised them that I would someday. And this someday happened to be this trip. They're like, we're going to Kenya, we're going skydiving. I was like, I don't promise you I'll skydive, but I'll promise you that I'm coming to Kenya. So I booked my flight. I come here, not even expecting to jump. I said, I'll just go with the flow. Sure enough, we're in Mombasa, Kenya. And coming in, I felt really sick. Like, we landed early morning, took a small plane to Mombasa, to Vipingo, and upon landing I was feeling very nauseous. Barely had time to recover. Next day, Zena actually tells me, hey bro, are you ready to go on your tandem? And I was like, now? I was like, yeah.
Why not, I say.
There's no time like now.
It wasn't now. Now?
Yeah, it was like, now? Like, really? You did, so, which was kind of cool as well, because it didn't give me too much time to think about it. So, and I'm the type of person, I overthink things a little too much. So if I sat there pondering the idea just a little longer, I probably wouldn't have been on that plane. I was like, all right, you know what? Let's go. Let's do this. I looked calm on the outside, but I don't even know how to describe how nervous I was and, trying to pretend. And I wasn't even trying to pretend to be macho or anything like that. I just knew it was going to be a hell of an experience. So everything was fine. Should we get into the banana?
Banana, bro. Banana time.
Okay.
You're gonna want to clarify that. I got some I got some creative listeners.
Right. So everything was fine until Omar tells me, Ibrahim, like as soon as you jump out of the plane, make sure you shape your body like a banana. So I lean forward like a banana. He's like, no, the other way. Put your back all the way, put your head all the way back, and like extend your chest out and like lean forward. Hips forward and lean, like, you know, lean forward. And then I asked Ahmad, I was like, but Dennis is gonna be behind me. He's like, yeah, he's gonna have to do it as well. I was like, oh shit. Getting intimate real quick, you know?
Some sort of skydiving prank.
Yeah. So, sure enough, we get on the plane. We go all the way up. I start like saying prayers in my head, you know, when I'm smiling on the outside, but inside I'm terrified. And then as soon as I get to that door of that plane, it just got real.
Yeah, it gets real.
I didn't even want to look down, but obviously as soon as you jump out of the plane, you just are face down and...
Oh, so you didn't do your banana then?
I did do the banana, but as best as I could, you know, obviously it just, everything just, your entire mind goes blank, you know?
Absolutely.
No thought, nothing.
The funniest as a side note real quick is that you're getting a briefing on body position for your first tandem in Kenya by Omar Al-Hejilan, which if you're not in skydiving, you wouldn't know, but if you're in skydiving, you're like, fucking hell, are you kidding me? Omar taught him the banana.
This is 3 minutes before boarding.
That's awesome. That's a proper
James
tandem briefing. Exactly. It's LeBron James teaching you how to do your first free throw.
Yeah.
And you nailed it.
Yeah.
When we got together at free fall.
It was.
And how cool was that?
Honestly, one of the best experiences of my life.
And did Dennis nail it too?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
So I just got that.
Yeah, he did.
It took me a second. No, he did not. But he nailed the landing.
Do you remember seeing Dewey on one side and me on the other?
Yes, I did. Of course. That was honestly, like, now that I fully process everything, I remember it clearly. But during the jump, it was a bit of a blur because obviously it's just surreal and just different emotions. But
sensory overload.
Yeah, sensory overload for sure. But as soon as you jump, my mind just went blank, right? And all I can remember is the sound of the wind just passing, you know, around your ear, and it's just like, how fast are we going? And then Dennis actually told me around 170 miles?
Kilometers per hour,
Yeah, I was like, wow.
It ain't slow.
It didn't feel slow.
No.
But then as soon as I grabbed Dewey's hand and Omar's hand, it felt a lot slower, but it was so incredible to see all of these people around you and smiling and just not a care in the world.
Sure.
And as soon as Dennis pulled the chute, I looked down and I was like, oh shit, we're really far off the ground, and that gave me some time to think about it. I was like, oh no. You know? But it all went well. It went really nice. And as soon as we landed, took off my gear, high-fived everyone. Not a lot of you noticed, but Dewey noticed. As soon as I high-fived everyone, I was overwhelmed with emotion.
Sure.
I started to get teary. I was like, guys, I'm going to jump in the water. Got in the water, and it just all came down and out. Just was bawling out, crying, right?
Sure.
Because of all the past 6-7 months that I've been through. But it was good in a good way, right? In a good, positive way, just releasing that stress, the anxiety, the trauma that one goes through losing a loved one. And honestly, like, one of the best feelings ever, jumping out of the plane. You like, just as a human being, you run away from danger. But to put yourself in danger voluntarily.
How did your perception of Dewey change, having gone through a skydive, and your perception of him as a... No, I'm being serious. And your perception of him as a skydiver? Because I'm sure you had your preconceived notions of he's really crazy now, and he's...
Yeah. So I grew up with him. I've known him since 2013, 10 years now. And I don't know if you guys know Dewey back then, but he was a completely different person, right? not to be negative or even point fingers, but we were all different people back then. He lived a lifestyle that different than now. And looking at him then and now, I'm looking at a completely different person.
Oh.
And even when he got into, I think it started with him shark diving. He started to change and seek the thrill and seek the adventure more importantly than anything else. Not at any point did I say, oh, he's like an adrenaline junkie, he's just escaping. None of that. But I saw him finding his ground, finding his way, finding his true self. So he starts skydiving, and I was like, wow, he's really into that. He's going around the world skydiving. And at first, obviously, I had my assumptions about him maybe escaping. All of us have a reason or two to escape reality, but I knew Dewey. I knew who he was, and I knew that he's become so true to himself that I even had a conversation with him in the car a few days ago. And I told him how proud I am of him to the person he's become, because I realized that he's not skydiving because just running away from the day-to-day. Actually, he loves it. He's passionate about it. He's not running away from responsibility. He's actually a very responsible person. He loves life. He loves the adventure. And I feel like back then that's what was missing from his life, right? Living his authentic self 100%. And I am so proud of him. It's unbelievable. And I'm happy. Honestly, thank you for encouraging me to come on this trip, man. Honestly, wow. Wow. Like,
so
really,
skydiving is therapy?
It is. Honestly, it is.
I would like to say something on this matter as well. So being a Muslim woman, I come from a very strict Muslim family. My dad being a sheikh and all that. Whatever I've gone through, I have found my peace with skydiving. When people talk about freedom and there's a lot of kind of different freedoms that people want to have, but just when I am skydiving and I've got that zen moment, nobody around me, or just when you jump out, I feel how small I am compared to this universe, and this universe is big. So much to give, right? So yeah, I feel like
it's freedom and therapy.
It's freedom and therapy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I do yoga and I play tennis, I do taekwondo and stuff like that. But skydiving for me is my peace and my freedom. Yeah.
Now, as the let's call you the elder statesman, shall we? As the elder statesman of skydiving, you've been to Kenya a few times. You've done a bunch of traveling. You've been jumping for quite a while. Know all the usual suspects. At 77, still jumping a stiletto. How did it all get started, and how did you end up in Kenya?
Well, it all got started. I've been thinking about this. I've never actually found a point where I suddenly decided I was going to skydive. I think the history goes back to when I was at school. My school had an army cadet force, and I joined the army cadet force at school. And whilst I never really was into soldiering, I just quite enjoyed the training and what have you. And I reached the dizzy heights of Lance Corporal. And then later on, when I was working, I found there was a territorial army unit. That in the UK is the reserve, the army reserves, and you can join that without having ever been in the regulars. Okay. And I went to see them and said, look, and they said, yeah, we'll have you. And I was in the artillery, 250 medium regiment for about 3 or 4 years. The government in the UK had some changes going ahead. The regiment was disbanded. I was left without a military home to go to, except there was 289 Parachute Battery up in London. And in the meantime, I'd moved to London anyway to work. So I went and saw them. And then in June 1967, I did my military parachute course.
In 67?
In 1967.
Fucking hell.
So I think I was 19 or something. And 19 or 20.
I was 1.
That's right.
I wasn't born.
That's the T-shirt I remember when sex was safe and skydiving was dangerous.
That's right.
That's when you were learning how to jump.
So I've always professed that I've never made a very good soldier, but I suddenly found that I was quite enjoying, even though it was static line and some of our jumps were as low as 650 feet, I found that I was enjoying the jumping out of the aeroplanes more than the soldiering. So when I got a chance, and I'd left the Territorial Army, I did a civilian parachute course. So I did my first sport jump in 1975, and carried on from there. But having a career and children, a wife, and stuff like that held me back for a long time. So I really didn't get started until perhaps the late 80s, early 90s. By which time I started travelling to the USA a lot, because the skydiving scene in the UK in those days was pretty slow because of lack of aircraft. It's fine if you like jumping out of 182s and 206s. So I spent all my money travelling to the States to jump, and until the UK started getting turbine aircraft.
Now, what did the family think of this? Because, I mean, again, wife and kid, now you're pissing off to the States to go jump out of airplanes.
Well,
were you taking the family? Or?
Sadly, the situation became that, it was either skydiving or the wife. So sadly, I had to let her go. And
We both did.
Still got a story.
And my kids by that time. Well, there was a story about that. My daughter had been working in Tanzania, and we came to meet her to a visit, and she was just about 20, 21, and she was in Dar es Salaam airport. My wife and I, we could see she's tall, blonde, and I know she's my daughter, but she's very, very beautiful. She was a model. And she was speaking fluent Swahili, organising a couple of porters to come and help with our luggage. And I thought, your job as a father is done.
Yeah.
You've done it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So,
Cheers to that.
yeah. So I just got into skydiving really almost by accident, and I found I loved it, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And all of a sudden, I woke up this morning, and I thought, yeah, I'm still going.
Yes.
Kind of one of the recipes for staying young, right? I mean, you keep doing what you love. Shit hurts a lot more getting out of bed in the morning, but you're still doing
Look
it.
at his face. He doesn't need any Botox or
I know
anything
it,
like
I
that.
know
Like,
it.
seriously.
I know it.
Yeah.
Speaking of pain, Ricky Rout, I had you on the podcast before. You have made an entire living out of teaching people how to inflict massive amounts of pain. As a jiu-jitsu instructor and turned skydiver, student of Omar Al-Hijalan's, and now you're organizing boogies. Dude, fucking talk about the fast track.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, absolutely. It's been an awesome process to be involved in. I'm super stoked. I had like jiu-jitsu as a great framework to base skill acquisition on. Right, so now I'm slowly trying to do the same, but in the field of skydiving. And skill is a very diverse term, because there are so many aspects to like the art.
Sure.
Right. So like I've been training a good amount in free fall. I've been training a good amount in the tunnel, but also now I had the opportunity to be involved in operation on a boogie type scale. It's been a really cool learning journey. I'm happy to have worked with Zainab. I got to learn how the skeleton of a boogie works, what makes it tick, what makes it efficient, where the points to improve could be for next time, and how to incorporate like that knowledge and have a good framework for that. It's awesome skill.
So when did you know you were going to go full force with skydiving? Because you were getting into it quite a bit in Dubai, but now you like make regular trips to Russia to buy a shitload of tunnel time because you're like perfecting it. Is it like a thing with you that you've got to perfect what you get into, or you just love it that much, or it's both?
So when I first started jumping at my first season, Omar was traveling the world with his family, so he was not really in Dubai at the time. So I had gone from like AFF to around 50 or 60 jumps that season, and then after the summer we spoke about it and we said, hey, we're gonna let's do a trade, jiu-jitsu for skydiving training. I was like, bet, let's do it. That's awesome. This is the universe. It's like in the perfect situation.
Yeah.
Then we started jumping, and one thing about jumping with Omar is the amount of energy and emotion he communicates with you during the jump.
Sure.
Like, yeah, he manages that so well. So it was just such a cool thing to experience as a student. I feel that one day I wish to be able to do the same to other people.
Sure.
I wish to be able to like, hey, what are you doing? All right, let me come along, and then just be able to super enhance their experience in the sky.
Do you think you were super open to that because you're kind of doing the same for other people learning jiu-jitsu?
Yes, absolutely. I know how good it feels in jiu-jitsu. And guess what?
When you see somebody get that light bulb?
Yeah, it's across all ages. Across all ages.
Yeah.
And I want the same in the sky now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And also at events.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, so this diverse.
That's awesome.
In all ways.
That's awesome. Dewey, you've done some stupid shit with big fish.
That's a good way to put it.
I have.
So, I know you as a jumper, but I've learned quite a bit on this trip, especially in regard to the scuba diving stuff. We've been to a lot of the same places, but you, next level. I mean, so how did you transition from a normal person to someone that lives with sharks all over the place, and now you're jumping out of airplanes all around the world? How does all that happen?
So, it all started with the biggest lie I've heard, that you have to go to university to make it in life.
Oh. Yeah.
So I took I believed it, finished university.
To be what?
Data science.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went into masters and then dropped out. I had a job for like a month in a cubicle. Went back to my mom. I was crying. I was like, no way, this is going to be my life for the next 40 years. Oh my God. It was like, I was 99% happy with my life. Just like Samper here before I met him 3 months later.
Okay.
So
that's already a story I know I want to dive into.
Yeah, we're going to dive into it together.
Yeah.
So I had to tell my mom I needed to take some time off, go backpacking. She didn't understand the concept of backpacking. She thought it was just like, okay, let's give him some amount of money and he'll spend it. When it's done, he'll come back.
Now give people your family background, where you're from, the kind of culture.
So I'm Saudi, but I left Saudi at a young age to go to boarding school, blah blah blah. College abroad. Been abroad at this point for more than half my life. So they're super traditional.
So it's not a go find yourself culture.
Not so much. No, it's like you want to find yourself. No. It's like
too many.
You want to find yourself. Come to us, Habibi.
Okay.
Stay at home.
Okay.
Yeah,
that paints the picture.
So but the thing is, like,
told you
Yeah.
Exactly. That's honestly very true across Muslim cultures and Arab cultures in general.
Yeah. You look to your parents for direction. You don't find your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I have the picture now. So you're in a bad spot because
So I had to break it. I had to break that tradition, like the culture, the normal things of the normal way of doing things. It just didn't make sense to me. So I was happy and everything, but it's just that it was just I couldn't really see anything else but a cubicle for the rest of my life. So I packed up like a suitcase. One suitcase, went to South Africa, and I actually started in the Balkan region, but it ended pretty quickly. It only lasted for like a month or something. But then I went to South Africa, and I was living somewhere in the Mpumalanga region next to the Kruger area, and that's actually where I met Sampi here next to me, Daniel.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, he was basically homeless and hairy and really okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in full Colombian primal mode.
I was going to say that was the picture that was painted for me.
Yeah, I have a picture for it too.
You could mistake him for a gorilla. At that point, yeah. No, he had long hair, a lot of hair everywhere.
So you just wanted to take care of a stray?
No,
it was a stray puppy on the street.
I went there volunteering.
He was,
and I found him with the kids there in one of the villages. Like, and I'm like, he's just...
So Dewey's volunteering in Africa, and their community service is helping out where I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
To paint the level of skills.
Okay. All right.
And they're teaching what I saw as privileged people how to build a garden. Yet I didn't know exactly what I was doing at the moment either.
Gotcha.
So it was a very funny thing, and I thought he was Mexican. he thought I was Lebanese. We both like wrongfully racially profiled each other, and we loved each other ever since.
I mean, I can kind of see both of those.
Yeah.
You can. It's not just me, right?
It's true.
I mean,
Yeah. If you said your name was Jesus, I wouldn't doubt it.
Abdullah.
Tell
for sure.
them where you got stopped in lockdown during COVID. Where were you in lockdown?
Oh, we were in Machu Picchu.
yeah, but
You got locked down in Machu Picchu?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Worst thing was everyone's like, oh, it has the best food, but I cook like shit. So then it was just Dewey there whipping it up and me cleaning up. Like,
Wow. So Ozzy and Harriet, just man and wife.
yeah, man.
thrown
So I
together.
think it was match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I also, I don't know if you guys know, Danny here also dropped out. And from where?
I was going to Harvard.
There you go.
Oh,
Went to
bravo.
Harvard. Yeah,
Bravo.
please get into that a little bit.
My background?
No, just like Harvard and
Oh,
how you decided
just the
to
Harvard background.
I mean, I got into Harvard because I was a Latino, and just being honest, they needed to meet a quota. From there, I got a scholarship.
It can't just be that. You had to offer them something.
Um,
It's not just.
I had a really good GPA out of college. I fucked
That's a
around
start.
and found
There
out
you
in
go.
high school. I graduated with 1.8, thought saxophone would take me to where I needed my life to be. Learned the hard way. From there, worked my ass off in university. Made it to Harvard.
Took you to jamming with a pretty fucking cool band on a beach in Kenya.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
man.
the segue. I was just about to
Yeah, man. Yeah, no,
That's exactly
I mean,
where
Yeah,
my
man.
head just went.
That was
That's-
probably, I mean, I love jumping out of the sky, man, but that, for me, that's my piece.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was kind of funny because I saw you at first. You hadn't been playing the saxophone yet. You were just walking around with it, and I'm like, you got to be pretty fucking confident to bring a saxophone to the beach.
Yeah.
He better be good at that. And then you got up with the band, and I'm like, oh yeah, he should bring a saxophone to the beach.
Appreciate that. I will say that, yeah, I bring it with me everywhere, and then people are really surprised, but then they're like, oh, you must be super good. And I'm just like, okay, now we just set the bar too fucking high, though.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was proper impressed. So was the band proper impressed.
Oh, the woman was in love with you.
I try to do that effect with many.
Uh-huh.
So, but back to the sharks real quick.
Back to the sharks
You started
situation.
swimming with really big fish.
So I was in South Africa. I was in the Kruger area. I was looking for something to do, some kind of purpose, whatever. So I worked with kids. I worked with farmers. I worked with a few animals along the way, whatever, until I got to the point where I looked at Sampi and I'm like, you want to go volunteer with sharks? They have penguins. I used to love penguins.
That was the funny part. So he wasn't sold on the sharks. He was like, damn, penguins?
Penguins.
I'm sold. And I was like, okay.
I mean, at that point, we needed to find the next destination because we've been there for such a long time. Like you stunk. It was so bad.
I won't argue them. So yeah, he was like, let's go to Huns Bay, and that was the great white capital of the world. And we went up, and it was like a program with Marine Dynamics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where
So-
the whites are known for breaching?
Yes. So that's actually where I met one of my other best friends who got me really into shark diving. So anyways, we went there, we volunteered for a very short time, and we had to leave because, we can't stay for more than 3 months because our visas, whatever. So we left and we kind of continued our journeys, both our journeys back home for a little while, pack up, and went on a journey through Central America.
And that's when we got stuck as shit in COVID.
In Machu Picchu.
The worst part was like the week before, everyone being like, you should go home, this is a terrible idea. And we're like, but Machu
No, but it was a
Picchu.
few months later. We had a lot of time. We had a lot of time, like, playing around. We went to, like, Costa Rica, Guatemala, camped next to an active volcano, surfed down an active volcano in Nicaragua. We were just going full ham at it, whatever you want. Reverse bungee jumping. It was
What?
Fucking
It was an amazing
Slingshot.
couple of, 6
Okay.
months of just whatever we had in mind, like anything that just not out of the ordinary, let's just do it.
We were being adrenaline junkies. So I remember one of the biggest things that kind of leads you into all of this picture of Dewey. We get to Cape Town, and he gives me a list of like top 20 things to do. And he says, can you please choose your top 3? In the top 3, I chose skydiving, shark cage diving, and probably like zip lining or something like that. So he looks at me and he goes, "Wait, you're an adrenaline junkie?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "I'm an adrenaline junkie." From there, we went and did a tandem in South Africa. Then went to the shark camp. Fast forward, he starts going gung-ho for sharks. And, I mean, now it's really full circle that he's a skydiver, too.
You know what's kind of funny, though, is you both got started on that with the idea that you were adrenaline junkies. And when you get into both of those things, adrenaline has nothing to do with either.
No.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's so strange.
That the two wildest things, diving with sharks and jumping out of airplanes, have shit to do with adrenaline once you're in it. It does initially,
right?
But when it gets going, it doesn't have anything. That's awesome.
For me, it's just jumping into a different reality.
Sure, for sure. Now, Zenib, when you started the idea to do this podcast, did you have any idea you'd have this many maniacs come out and want to?
Absolutely fucking not. No. But I am sitting here with. I'm actually very proud right now. I'm having an internal moment.
Sure.
Feeling so blessed and humbled by the caliber of people that I have around here. Dean, first of all, I would have never met you, right?
True.
And
We would have never met.
You have done an amazing job for Gojam Kenya. Absolutely.
I taught a really good pilot how to do a couple extra things.
No. Beyond that, you have done
I am really cool. Don't get me wrong.
Finally came
Humble
out.
pie, baby.
I was just waiting for it.
But I wouldn't have met you ever. I don't think so. Maybe at
Probably,
some point
maybe,
in life or
maybe,
whatever.
yeah.
But through Omar, which again and again, I keep telling myself how lucky I am to meet people like Omar and Kareem. And through all that, I meet you, Dean, and Baby Dewey, sharkage diving. Sampi, welcome to Gojam Kenya. It was your first time here. First time skydiver. Well, Tandem. Ricky, logistics, man. Come on, we need to up it up. And my friend Peter. I met Peter here 2018.
No, 2016, I think.
2016 was it?
Yeah, and 2017.
Oh my god, I was such a baby skydiver
You
then.
were a baby skydiver, yeah.
Gosh, yeah. I didn't even know what I was doing.
You were all bouncing with enthusiasm, and I thought, yeah, I like
I
this
still
girl.
do. I still do.
Good.
You know, the funny part is you have your moment where you're loving everybody around and everything that's going on, but like 3 hours ago it was all, Dean, don't ever be a fucking DZO.
And that's exactly it.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's admit
that
it.
is true.
It's hurting cats. The best of us. We are so hard to wrangle, and we all have our own ways and all that stuff. And Kareem, sit the fuck down, because you left and just haven't even been part of the conversation. So you need to reintroduce yourself.
My name is Karim.
Yeah, that's more than that. More than that. How did Gojam Kenya come about for you?
It was a miracle. I was so excited when I heard that she actually opened the DZ, because historically, jumping in Kenya was banned for the rest of eternity.
Was there, without getting too sensitive and too into it, what's the short version of why that was?
You want to, or do I?
Go ahead, my friend.
February 19, 2019.
Okay, we're getting pretty detailed. Let's go.
Yes.
All right. So much for
He's
glossing
funny.
over it.
Okay, let's for those people who can only hear us, but I'm going to tell this as well. He's got it tattooed on his arm.
Yes, I see that.
Underarm, actually. Yeah.
What
there you go.
Yeah. What? So I was up on a tandem. And a really great guy called, I'm not going to say names.
Yeah.
But I really had a great time.
Okay.
During that time. But
because of the banana thing?
And other reasons.
Okay.
Someone decided to get the Zambian military to train AFF here, posing as tourists, which would have went really smooth until one of them decided to cut away at 100 feet.
Yeah.
And then, so things, when he went to the hospital, pronounced deceased, they found out who the identity was, things escalated, went all the way up to the president, and the newspaper, it was that the Zambian military was here to do covert operations, etc. So skydiving in Kenya was shut down forever.
No shit.
Ever, yeah. And we were all disappointed because Kenya was always that beautiful place, carefree, friendly people, and jumping to beautiful scenery, landing on beaches, going on safari, bringing your family, your friends, everything goes here. And legally, the man won the court case to keep jumping. However, the army were like, nope, and they surrounded the plane during a boogie, and they let the skydivers out, and they're like, you ain't jumping. And then they had a case against him again, so that they can have a warrant for his arrest, but he left the country. So we were all unhappy that Kenyan was closed, because we lived in Dubai, and that was like a 5-hour flight during our public holidays where we can go and have fun and skydive and be with all our friends, etc. Anyway, so years later, Zainab, being the hard-headed woman that she is,
General.
Yep, decided to open a drop zone. And I remember a lot of people said that's impossible, and people called her and said that's impossible, but she did it. And the miracle is here out to life. So let's make it.
And how did you end up kind of juggling everything? Because I mean, I was talking to both you and Zainab trying to arrange transporting coming over to do what I came to do, and it was between both of you guys. And I remember being surprised because I'm like, Kareem lives in Dubai. Why is he? How?
So Kareem has lived in Kenya, right? In 2018, he used to live here, and we've become really good friends. Gojam Kenya would have not been here if I didn't have the moral support of Kareem. So even back then, when people were telling me, "Oh, this is not going to happen," I would call Kareem up and say, "This person told me, oh, you can't meet the Director General of KCA," and he would tell me, "Go do it. Do this, girl. You've got it." So he knows a lot about logistics and people here, and he also speaks the language a little bit. Funny enough. Kidogo. Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
And being a background of management consulting, I can bring order to chaos. So,
Ricky, what would you say about chaos?
Chaos. It's great when you try something out, create something new, and face the chaos, because you get to learn a lot from it. You really observe the things you could have done better to avoid certain aspects and certain things to prevent. So it's a very good lesson.
For sure.
Yeah.
There is orderly chaos.
Yes.
If you've ever driven a scooter in Vietnam or that, you understand that within what seems to be total chaos, there's actually logic and rhyme and reason. And once you start getting into it, there is a flow to it.
Yes, absolutely.
So now, Omer, we had a conversation not that long ago, actually. You were just on the podcast a month and a half ago talking about some of the things that were going on, but you seem to be nonstop. I can't keep up with where the fuck you are.
Bro, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with many opportunities.
It was a year ago and a couple of months, actually not even a year ago and a couple of months, it was like 13 months ago, you and I were sitting together at the top of the world doing the same thing.
Exactly. How beautiful is
right?
that?
It's pretty bizarre.
I was thinking about you, actually, when I was there.
I was so jealous because it snuck up on me. I'm like, oh, wait. Holy shit, right now I was getting messages on my phone. Here's your 1 year ago. And then
I am, like I always say, hashtag trillionaire in experiences.
Oh.
I really am. I am just beyond blessed to be able to live the kind of life that I live, to have the friends that I have, and to get to experience the things that I get to experience all over the world with new friends, old friends. I mean, it's
pretty ridiculous.
Like in that movement.
It really is ridiculous. It makes you, I don't know, it's hard sometimes. I mean, I don't want to whine and cry. I'm telling you what a great life I led. But it's like almost you feel guilty. It's my life almost a little too good, too nice, God bless. I've got this most incredible family, the most incredible daughter and wife. Anyway, so yeah, just very, very grateful. And man, what a great time to be here in Kenya. And really, I invite each and every one of you to come next boogie. It's epic.
I mean, I love that we're sitting here having a podcast next to a swimming pool. People are listening to people swimming back and forth and birds chirping.
Absolutely.
So, Pete, did you have any idea when you got into jumping in '67? Fuck me, you're old.
I am old.
Did you have any idea it was going to be a lifelong pursuit and take you everywhere that it did?
I had no idea whatsoever. I've jumped extensively in the United States. I've jumped in Africa. I jumped in Zambia even in 1978.
Wow.
On a round canopy. It's a long story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've always decided, well, let's just have a go at this. There's something about it's like an addiction, skydiving.
Sure.
You start to like it, and you start to want to repeat. You need to keep repeating the dose. I am an addictive personality. I've talked about this with other people here about some of my other addictions, which I've managed to just put to one side and stop.
Sure.
But I haven't yet managed to stop skydiving.
Sure. We haven't even managed to stop skydiving on a fucking stiletto. Yeah. I mean, it's 77. It's funny because skydiving, we've become accustomed to so many different generations within the same sport. I mean, from Lou Sanborn to the newest 16-year-old, where it's legal for them to be jumping, is all the same group. They can all be on the same load at the same time. But I don't think there's too many 77-year-olds still jumping stilettos.
The thing about my stiletto is it's the smallest canopy I've ever had. And I did buy, I have got a second set of gear at home with a bigger canopy, a 150 stiletto, would you believe? And I bought that for as I was getting older, I was finding landings at places like Arizona, Eloy, and Elsinore and Paris. I was finding, because they're quite high up drop zones.
Sure.
I mean, I've stopped trying to run out fast landings about 10 or 15 years ago.
Sure.
Because at my age, if you break a leg, it could be the end of your skydiving career.
Sure.
So I tend to wear out jumpsuit asses and.
Well, I love the fact that you're landing on the golf course at sunset yesterday. You were the one that not only hit the only one that hit the target, but you also gathered up the entire target because you swooped into it, which was beautiful. It was absolutely perfect. Yeah. Now, Ibrahim, so first jump, first boogie, first everything. Do you see yourself jumping again, or is it you made a bunch of friends you keep in contact with, but the jumping side of things was?
I think I'll definitely jump again.
Yeah.
But I think something Ricky said that kind of resonated with me. I'm a perfectionist at heart.
Okay.
And I the most thing, it's equal. It's like a love-hate relationship. The most thing I loved about skydiving that I wasn't in control, because obviously I was doing a tandem, but it was also the most thing I hated about skydiving because I wasn't in control, right? I wanted to be the one that's pulling chute, directing myself, right? I don't know. It's just who I am, right? Even when I drive, I feel fine, but as soon as someone grabs the wheel, I feel like, oh, so it's that perfectionist in me. But I was telling Dewey, I kind of want to get into a wind tunnel to see how it is,
Sure.
in a controlled environment,
Sure.
and take it from there. But
Boy, I don't know if that you can call it controlled. More controlled.
More controlled, right? So definitely would want to try it again. But honestly, being here in the boogie has just been incredible. Meeting all these different people. At first, again, like when I looked at Dewey and Daniel traveling, I was like, oh, these people are just so obsessed, right? Like, oh, this and that. But when I tried it and I tasted what that is like, I was like, wow.
Shit's good.
Yeah.
Really, it's real good.
Not only the adrenaline.
It's real good.
Not only the adrenaline, but man, the people. Honestly, I've never met people like that. Never met such lovely people in the community. I think that within itself will definitely make me want to travel again, whether it's with you guys or Dewey, Daniel, even by myself, to meet new people, like-minded people. And to be honest, the boogie was just incredible. I do a bit of photography. It was nice to take pictures of extreme sports, if you call it that. It's just been an absolute pleasure, honestly.
I got licked by a giraffe.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I can say the giraffe molested you or you molested the giraffe.
He followed me. He was pursuing me. It was only halfway through the licking that I noticed that there was a little bit more hanging there than I thought. Yeah.
That was really cool, though. I didn't expect that. That was super cool. And right up to the fence line of the runway, there's just giraffes standing there, and the only thing that I could think is they're fully just going, oh, here they go again. Just checking us out. It was so cool.
You're like, damn, I wish I fit in that plane.
Yeah, the whole thing. Well, I sent a message to my wife with a picture of the giraffe licking me, saying I'm going to try and see if I can take it home as an emotional support animal. I don't think that's going to work, but I'm going to try.
I need a support animal after I found out what banana means in skydiving.
So you've been traumatized with bananas?
No, not really. I'm just being silly.
Well, in Vegas, we didn't say banana. We said point your pecker the direction you want to go. So pick your poison, man.
Hey, what about the women?
Well, either way.
Hey, it's
either way. Hey, General.
Whatever you identify.
You got the equipment.
That's right. Whatever you identify.
Please, Pete.
Yeah, I'm sorry to butt in here.
No,
but
that's what it's about.
listening to my skydiving family talking reminds me of the fact that, yeah, worldwide we are a family. And I'd never met Dean, I'd never met you before. But as the days passed, we suddenly discovered there's so many people we know in common. And virtually everybody here, when they say where they jump, I say, oh, do you know this one? And they say, yeah, I know her, I know him. And this is one of the joys I find about skydiving. It's a community where people love one another, and you meet people, and you can walk on a drop zone anywhere in the world practically. And if there isn't somebody you know, there are people who know people that you know.
Absolutely.
Bravo. Yes.
You and I almost immediately got to sit and have a conversation about this big fat cunt named Dale Hinton that lives in the UK. We found out that we're not only both good friends with this amazing human being, but we got to send messages back and forth at the same time.
Yeah.
Of course, to nothing but berating insults from him, as you would expect.
Well, he was a Royal Marine, so I mean, they only understand insults.
Absolutely. But it really is a wonderful thing. It's such a small community, and I'm sure every jumper around the table already knows that the longer you get in the sport, the more you realize that there's a sofa in probably every major city and certainly every country that skydives around the world, and probably most of them that don't, waiting for you when you show up.
Absolutely. And
Fucking cool, right?
I have a story to tell as well. So when I started skydiving, right, I was, people didn't understand me. Let's just put it that way. Family didn't understand me. But every
What, you mean your accent?
Yeah, do I speak Chinese?
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we've got an accent in Kenya as well. It's called Kenglish.
Kenglish?
Yeah.
All right.
Kenya English. Kenglish.
Okay.
So do you think I speak Kenglish?
No, I don't know. I'm
Okay,
American.
tell me
I don't know. But please continue with your story.
Yeah. So when I started going to different drop zones, right, I knew no one, because basically I am the first Kenyan skydiver, born and bred here, right? There weren't many people that I could go to or relate to or anything like that, except for Kareem in Dubai. What a nightmare. That was my first point of reference? Gosh.
Kareem was your first point of reference in skydiving?
Wow. Now it all makes sense, huh?
Yeah, it does.
It all adds up.
It does. All right.
Stop looking at me.
So when I started traveling, like, if I said, I'm coming to your drop zone, or may I come to your drop zone, or whatever, not knowing who I am or whatever, what my skill level is, they were welcoming people from the moment I arrived in that country to people saying, come stay with us, like, you're welcome. So I worked in Skydive Mossel Bay. Hank, I love that guy to bits. Drop zone owner, Skydive Mossel Bay.
Yeah, I know him well.
Yeah. So the first time I told him I'm going to come to South Africa, he's like, dude, you're staying with me. And it was kind of like, for me as a woman, like, a guy says, oh, you stay with me. I'm like, no. But it was just beautiful, like how accepting and how respected I was.
You ended up in the corn in Chicago, didn't you?
No, excuse me, sir. I went to look for a parachute.
No, I mean you worked for...
Oh, I worked. Yes, I did. Chicagoland Skydive Center.
The fuck did you think I meant?
I heard that I ended up in a corn.
I don't mean you landed in the corn. I mean, you went and worked at a drop zone in Chicago. It's all corn around there.
It is.
Oh,
yes.
jeez. Can't get it any
Chicagoland
past you.
Skydive Center. Yes, I've got beautiful memories of that place. And now as a DCO, I know how silly it sounds or whatever, but I've got mentors. So Hank is my mentor because I worked for him and with him. And Doug, you're a very good friend.
I worked with Doug for 4 years. Yeah, he put me in a Twin Otter when I absolutely should not have been put in a Twin Otter.
Right.
Stupidest thing he could have ever done. Love it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had 27 multi-engine hours when he put me in his Twin Otter.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know you back then, right? I mean,
No.
you came before my time. If that sounds right.
He's calling me old. He's the old one, not me. I'm the third. Holy
What?
shit!
Holy shit!
I'm
yes.
the third oldest person at this table.
See that?
I like
You're
this
becoming
boogie.
a youngin'.
Yes, I like this boogie.
Like
This
the
is
oldest
good stuff.
looking. So.
It's just because I've been in the snow and I'm a little red.
White?
I'm red now.
Oh yeah, because you're in Kenya.
Yeah, bright red. Yeah.
Hey, Dean, wanted to
Lobster.
introduce Mahmoud Sharaf over here.
Mahmoud, how's your butt feeling? Sorry, go ahead.
For those of you that don't know, Mahmoud Sharaf is the mastermind behind Jump Like a Pharaoh, which are the skydives that we get to do over the pyramids of Cairo. One of the most incredible, beautiful, once-in-a-lifetime jumps. Getting to jump out of a C-130 military transport aircraft at 15,000 feet over the pyramids of Giza. I mean, incredible. And literally land between two of them. I mean...
Oh, the images for the stuff that you have done are absolutely beyond incredible. Seeing human beings in free fall over the pyramids or flying past them under canopy, are you kidding me?
Yes. Okay. Okay. First of all, thank you all for the boogie for being here all together. And thank you for introduction, Omar.
Thank you.
Let
Thank
you know
you for
about
coming
Jump
and
Like a
joining
Pharaoh.
us. Absolutely.
Yeah, because Omar introduced us by Jump Like a Pharaoh. So I started skydiving 2015. At that time, we didn't have a drop zone in Egypt. So we have to travel to learn skydiving, to skydive. First, I went to Morocco, French drop zone. They're working in seasonal.
Damn, Pete, what happened?
Disagree.
I love that all you hear is the Englishman snort fucking French.
Keep going.
You have experience in Morocco?
Just French drop zones.
Yeah. They are really strict, the French drop zones.
Karen and Greg, we love you.
Sorry. Trying to jump at a French drop zone is like nailing jelly to the ceiling.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Morocco, so a little bit restricted.
No, I love it.
I second that.
So Morocco first and then where?
First, I took my AFF in Morocco.
Okay.
Then went a couple of times there as well, and then like Dubai for sure. Then Kenya. Kenya was the third country I jumped in it. Fourth country if I excluded Egypt from the list. So Kenya was the third country to jump in it during boogies. That was happening back in 2016 and 17. At that time, I really enjoyed the place here and the vibes and Africa, all of that. I was privileged to be introduced to a lot of people because I have to travel to jump. I don't have so much experience in skydiving, but I have I saw a lot of places. I can tell it's too much compared to my skydiving experience. I jumped in a lot of drop zones until the moment came in 2017. Okay, when I travel everywhere, okay, you are from Egypt, yes. Why not? We are organizing something over the pyramids. Egypt, as you know, is a lot of bureaucratic process, a lot of everything. To being able to do anything there, really, really very hard. In getting approvals and military and jumping in the plane, especially for something never happened before. So they are afraid of everything, military controlling everything. I talked to Omar in 2017. He had a project called 777 at that time, but it never happened there. But we, like, 777 was like doing like 7 jumps, 7 continents in 7 days. It needs a lot of logistics, a lot of funds, a lot of finance. But at that time, it couldn't happen. But we kept dealing with Omar. Okay, why not we make a pyramids boogie? We make something happening in the pyramids. Anyways, June 2018, we had the first ever jump like a pharaoh. It was jumping from C-130. Like, only we had at that time 1 jump per day. We were just starting something new. We didn't know how it would be. Omar and Dunya and Cherry came at that time. It was really fantastic. Like, we were only like 50 or 60 persons on the C-130. Most of people didn't think it will happen. Like, okay, and ourselves, I was just trying something new. I'm afraid until we just exit the plane and make it happen. So 1 jump per day for 3 days. A lot of people around the world attended, like a lot of nationalities came there. And it happened. Then the next year, 2019, like double the numbers. And a lot of people, I think it was February 2019, double the numbers. We had a little, not challenges in 2019, as I remember.
Growing pains.
Yeah, but it went well at the end. It ended perfectly.
Well, what's amazing is that it's been going on so long that now we just finished Jump Like a Pharaoh 6. So now you're already preparing number 7.
Exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Do you have dates for that? When's it going to be? Where can people register and so on?
Yeah, we are planning right now. We fixed the dates for end of October, beginning of November. Like last week of October, first week of November. Like we fixed those days plans like the COVID year. You remember, like COVID year, we switched. It was supposed to be in June, but we postponed till November. So we loved the weather at November. Weather is good, not so cold, not so hot. Little challenges with fog, but it's okay. So we are keeping the dates for next year. Everything same as it is. Okay. Like, nice. But we will be like checking in like 28th of October, checking out 2nd of November.
28th of October to 2nd of November.
Yeah.
Those are some good dates to keep in mind.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny because I had a lady on the podcast not that long ago by the name of Kim Emmons Noor, and she's in her 80s. She was a very active jumper all the way back in the day. She doesn't jump on her own now. She does tandems, and she's desperately trying to get to 1,000 jumps, and she wants to make her bucket list. Before I die, my 1,000th jump needs to be over the pyramids. Oh, that's literally what she's doing, traveling all around the States with the USPA backing the hell out of her as she jumps out of airplanes all around the U.S. trying to hit that 1,000 mark so it can be 1,000 over the pyramids.
Amazing.
So you got somebody coming specifically because of what you did. You've kind of laid out this amazing goal for someone setting this, doing this incredible thing. It's really cool.
Congrats.
We gotta get her on a stiletto.
and I think Dean should be there too.
Yeah. And Dean, I don't know if you're aware that Mahmoud also is the mastermind behind the Bali Boogie.
Oh, see, now I don't like you. Because I so desperately wanted to, myself and a couple of people looked into what the logistics would be behind jumping in Bali, and everyone told us, never going to happen. Well, now I know the guy that got it to happen over the pyramids is how it happened in Bali.
They haven't met Mahmoud.
That makes sense.
They haven't met
That
Mahmoud.
makes sense.
Now you know about Mahmoud and his partner Mustafa.
Now, speaking of events, you guys can actually add to this. This is obviously the end of this boogie, but there's going to be more to come. So how do people find out about Co-Jump Kenya? How do they attend the next boogie coming around? How, if they're in Kenya and they want to come make a tandem, how do they find out about you? Where do they go? Social media, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Go to social media. Go Jump Kenya on Facebook. Go Jump Kenya on Instagram. Get in touch with Zainab. Get in touch with me. we're ready to go ahead and make your dreams come true coming here and jumping in Kenya. Next boogie is, what are the dates?
April, but the exact dates will be confirmed.
April or
Second
10
week of April.
Second week, like 10-ish, 12-ish, something like that of April, for 1 week. So come one, come all, let's make it an incredible event.
Come jump on the beach, come jump on a golf course, get licked by a giraffe.
That too.
Hang out with amazing people.
All possibilities are there.
Get your banana going on.
Get your banana going on.
Baby.
And for
Scared the
first,
giraffes, scared the zebras when you're just about to land.
That was yeah.
And for a first-time jumper, I definitely recommend Kenya for sure. For sure. This place is beautiful, breathtaking, nature everywhere. So definitely come.
Fantastic. Guys, we could literally keep this conversation going until the sun comes back up, which is why I'm going to stop it. And thank you all so much, not just for sitting down to talk about all of this, but for continuing jumping, being part of the skydiving family, and being here in Kenya. This has been fantastic.
Dean, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you.
And thank you to all the listeners out there. Please, all of you, take a minute, pray, peace on earth. Thank you.
Bravo.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Damn.